exit poll of 2023. This big election year is starting off in the northeast with 3 states, Tripura, Meghalaya and Nagaland, having now voted. What are the big numbers saying? The Axis My India poll is back. Rahul and I are back with the numbers for the first big results of 2023.
Huge interest in the northeast around these India Today Access My India numbers, and we're going to, over the next 2 hours, get you the results for Tripura, Meghalaya and Nagaland. Rajdeep and I will start from Tripura, where we have a sample size, Rajdeep, of 6,037, cutting across 59 constituencies where polls were held. So that's where we'll start from. We're going to start from Tripura, where polls were held on the 16th of February. Counting, remember, is on the 2nd of March. And this is also the state which has the maximum interest outside of the northeastern region as well, because this is the first state in the northeast where the BJP managed to win outside Assam of its own accord.
That's right. In a way, Tripura could become a template for what lies ahead in 2024, because this was a state where the Congress and the left tied up in a way to stop the BJP. And you had the emergence of a regional tribal force in Tripura Mota. So as we see the national picture of the opposition trying to get its act together, the BJP trying to consolidate 5 years in power, Tripura, I think, is critical to understand how this country is changing. Because Rahul, if you had done this exit poll 10 years ago, and the fact was no one even did exit polls really in the northeast states 10 years ago, you would have probably written off the BJP right at the start. They were a 1.6% party in 2013. From there, they go to 43-44% by 2018. They sweep the 2019 Lok Sabha, win both the seats, and lead in 50 of the 60 assembly segments. So the rise of the BJP in the northeast is best exemplified by Tripura, as is the decline of the Congress and perhaps also of the left. So I think the interesting aspects of Tripura are not just relevant to what's happening in that state, but also showcases how this country's political map, Rahul, has changed over the last decade.
And to go from about 1.5% of the vote to about 45% of the vote is a massive result. 43% in 2018, 51% in 2019 if you look at Lok Sabha vote share. So that's a big position that the BJP starts from. It's also where they changed the chief minister. So replacing Biplab Deb for Dr. Manik Saha, is that a strategy that will work in Tripura as well? It's worked for them in other states. It's worked in Gujarat. It's worked for the BJP in a place like Uttarakhand. It's worked in multiple states. Will it work in the northeast? So let's start.
And Dr. Manik Saha, interesting. He's a dentist. And he was smiling right through an interview that I did with him. And I said, what's easier to be, a dentist or a politician? And he actually said being a politician is easier than being a dentist.
Right.
Because if you get anything wrong as a dentist, he says your patient goes for you. He said, politics I can handle. And I thought he would always say it the other way around. But here was someone, very low profile, had never contested an election till he became chief minister. Only was in the Rajya Sabha, was part of the Congress's Medical Doctors Association in Tripura. So, he also exemplifies change.
So this is where you've got Pradyut of the Tripura Mohota, the erstwhile Maharaja, very colorful character, also in the fray. And the question is, what kind of dent will he make in this election, and who does he damage more? So let's get started. We'll take you through, Rajdeep, the vote share and seat share numbers for Tripura.
Okay, let's go first for the vote share and seat share numbers for Tripura. Rahul, why don't you take them? Give it to us. What exactly could happen in Tripura?
So in 2018, in the assembly elections, the BJP had 43% of the vote share. The Congress and the left, if taken as an aggregate, had 16% of the vote share. According to the India Today Access My India post-poll prediction, the BJP in this exit poll with the IPFT is likely to have 45% of the vote share. The left and the Congress together. Now this is interesting, as Rajdeep mentioned, because this could potentially be a template in other places, but wherever they've tried it, it hasn't worked, at least in terms of conversion into seat share. 32% of the votes for the left and the Congress. This was 9% in the Lok Sabha and 16% in the Assembly. If I were to add the Congress and the left vote share, then the Tripura Motha of Pradyut Dev at 20%. Remember, this is a new front that's come up asking for a separate Tripura land. But the question is, how does this convert into seats? Let's take our viewers through that, the conversion of these votes into seats. India Today and Access My India predict that the BJP will form the next government in Tripura. Out of the 60-seat assembly, the majority mark at 31. Access My India predicts for the India Today group that the BJP alliance with the IPFT will have between 36 and 45. The left and the Congress together between 6 and 11. The Tripura Motha between 9 and 16. What we're essentially seeing, Rajdeep, is because of the presence of the Tripura Motha, because of Pradyut's presence in the fray, the opposition vote has got split, as a result of which the BJP has increased its vote share just by 2%. It's actually down in comparison to the Lok Sabha, but comfortably poised to be able to form the next government and come back to power in Tripura once again.
More than the division in the opposition vote, Rahul, what I would say is that Tripura is seeing classically consolidation of the tribal vote towards the Tripura Motha and the Bengali vote towards the BJP and the Congress left alliance, which is an unnatural alliance. These are the two parties that have fought each other for the last 50 years. They've come together only to stop the BJP. Once you do that, you run the risk of the Congress voter not necessarily shifting to the left, that's happening, and the BJP is consolidating. So clearly at the moment, what we are seeing in Tripura is a potential consolidation of the Bengali vote. And just for our viewers, Tripura has 60 seats, 20 were in the tribal belt. That's where the Tripura Motha is doing well, calling for a greater Tripura land, almost a separate state within a state. And the remaining 40 seats in the general category is where the BJP is doing well. Remember, about 70% of Tripura's population is Bengali speaking and about 30% is tribal. So what you're seeing is the demographics of Tripura are now working squarely in favor of the BJP. So the big story coming in from Tripura is that the BJP is once again poised to retain a state. Despite anti-incumbency, 9 months ago a chief minister changed, Biplab Deb, replaced by Dr. Manik Saha, the BJP poised to do better than they did, or as well certainly as 2018. Kaushik Deka joining us, the man from India Today magazine, also handles a very important digital site now, India Today Northeast. Kaushik, your first reactions to these Tripura numbers?
These are almost expected because as I had mentioned earlier also, the emergence of Tripura Motha is actually helping BJP. Tripura Motha, as I can see, it's getting around 9 to 16 seats, and of course those seats will come from the tribal belt, where BJP last time won 10 seats and its partner IPFT won 18 seats. So BJP seems to have lost those seats to Tripura Motha now. 18. If Tripura Motha takes 16 seats, then BJP would lose on those seats. So what has this emergence of this Tripura Motha, it has led to the consolidation of the Bengali votes. So I have been repeatedly saying that because the moment this tribal sentiment emerges, the 70% population, the Bengali population, that there has been a consolidation because they see BJP as the party which can protect them. Because if you carefully listen to BJP's poll campaign towards the end, it categorically kept saying that we would not give Tripura land, we would not split Tripura. The whole campaign was revolving around that. So that means BJP was actually targeting the Bengali votes, and which they successfully seems to have gained.
This shows up in our numbers. If you look at the caste and community-wise breakup of the Access My India exit poll predictions for India Today, the Tripura Motha picks up 51% of the vote share amongst the tribal communities, whereas the BJP picks up 60% plus vote share amongst the general and OBC categories, which essentially means because the Tripura Motha came up as a separate party pushed by the erstwhile Maharaja, the non-tribal vote has got consolidated. The left and the Congress have done well in the minority-dominated seats. For example, amongst the Muslim seats, the left and the Congress together have 67% of the vote share. But that apart, whether it's the Dalits, whether it is the OBCs or the general communities caste, they have helped the BJP with a massive consolidation. And it's big because this is where the likes of Amit Shah, the likes of Hemanta Biswa Sarma worked really hard on ensuring that they would win Tripura again to show that 2018 wasn't a fluke.
You know, this will be a big result for the BJP because it will start the year, this big election year for the BJP on the right foot if this Axis My India exit poll is right. I am joined at this moment by Sanju Verma of the BJP, Dr. Fuad Halim, leader of the CPIM, and Dr. Sudeep Dev Barman of the Congress party. Remember, the left and the Congress have tied up there. So the first numbers that are coming up from Tripura clearly suggest that the BJP has the advantage over the left Congress alliance. Sanju Verma, for once you can smile and, you know, without necessarily any recriminations, feel that maybe this is a good start to the year, that the BJP could well be consolidating in Tripura, a state where you made that major breakthrough 5 years ago.
Rajdeep, I was listening to you and Rahul, and I found one point pretty interesting. You said that, the TMP, the Tripura Mohta party, will basically have its presence registered in the 21 tribal seats, and there is a consolidation of Bengali vote. And that is the reason that the BJP is coming back to power, because the general category seats are about 39 from the total 60. Now, I have a different take on that. I think you rightly said that, 32% of Tripura's 37 or 38 lakh odd population is tribal population belonging to the scheduled tribes. But even in those 21 tribal seats where you feel that the BJP will not register its presence very strongly and the TMP will give the BJP a run for its money, I beg to differ there. I feel that the 9 to 16 seats that you're giving to the TMP is highly exaggerated. And while you have given us a 2% lead at 45% in terms of seat vote share compared to 2018, our vote share was about 43% odd. You are giving us just 36 to 45 seats along with the IPFT. And I'm telling you that the number of seats we will win is between 45 to 50 along with our partner IPFT.
No, as long as you don't say 60 out of 60. As long as you don't say 61 out of 60, I'm okay. Okay,
but let's please finish.
Let the others come in. You made your initial comments. Let the others come in. There are lots of senior people also on this program. Dr. Fuad Halim, it appears clearly that the left strategy of tying up with the Congress has not worked as per the exit poll. Will these numbers mean effectively that this strategy of tying up with a party in a Bengal, in a Tripura, but fighting them in Kerala is not working for y'all? Y'all are the opponents of each other for years. You can't overnight expect voters to switch sides.
Well, there are two things that are apparent from this exit poll. First thing is that you have very courageously said that the Bharatiya Janata Party has lost the popular mandate it had received in the Lok Sabha elections. They've gone down from 51% to below 50%. And I congratulate you for showing that courage. Secondly, it is fait accompli that the total opposition vote against the BJP is definitely more than 50% and definitely more what the BJP, as predicted by the exit poll, has received. The second thing I think so is very important that you're already saying that the left and the Congress alliance has made a big impact in terms of increasing their vote share. This is what your exit poll is actually evidencing about. So I think so we are comfortable because we have to keep in mind that this is an exit poll and the results are going to come in.
No, Mr. Halim, I must correct you. We exit poll vote share in comparison to 2018, you are lower. You were actually 42% in 2018. Only in comparison to Lok Sabha have you done slightly better. You are actually down by over 10%. For the left, this is a huge setback.
That is exactly what I'm saying. For you, it's a setback. For me, it's a positive that we've recovered a lot of ground, and this togetherness of the left and the Congress has definitely impacted the voters. And a lot of them have changed their minds since the Lok Sabha election, and they have
Okay.
voted in favor of the left. This is what your
Okay.
exit poll is
Now,
coming across. You
now,
might go back to 2000, what you call 18. You might go back to 2017. You might go back to 2012, and you can go back and back and back. So the more back you go, the more analysis you have. Presently, this is the way
Okay,
that
let's.
I look upon it. I think so. It's a positive, and the BJP is losing ground. There's a narrow
Sushmita Dev, the
going down.
Trinamool contested in 28 seats. The likes of Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee invested a lot of time, energy, effort in Tripura, hoping to make a dent and make an entry. It seems from this India Today exit poll, and I haven't discussed Meghalaya and Nagaland just yet, but it seems from what we put out for Tripura that the Trinamool's plans haven't come to any fruition, at least in Tripura.
Well, that's what your exit poll seems to say. But on 2nd of March, we'll have to wait and see. But I do feel that when it comes to your projections of what you're showing for the BJP, I somehow don't agree with it, because what the mood of the people on the ground was definitely not one-sided for the BJP. And we'll have to see what Tripura Motha says. And going by your exit polls, all I can say is that if you're saying the fight became bipolar, then I believe that BJP stands to lose. And you're well aware that it was not
No,
possible
we're
for
not
Trinamool
saying that it's a
Congress to...
bipolar fight. We're actually saying that it's the presence of the Tripura Motha which split the opposition vote to the advantage of the BJP, where the left and the Congress together couldn't put up as strong a fight because the Tripura Motha in the tribal seats took away a lot of the votes. So it's actually opposition disunity
I'll tell you
helping the
something.
ruling BJP.
I mean, Rahul, senior Congress leader Shruti Burman is also on the show. And I believe for Tripura Motha to fight beyond the 20 ST seats may have helped the BJP. So I will agree with you there. Because what they did is the tribal vote that was anti-BJP, it did not let it divert to the anti-BJP camp. So there is, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens on 2nd of March. But there I agree with you that Tripura Motha
Are you
may
accusing
have
Pradyut of being in the
helped...
BJP front?
Sorry?
Are you accusing Pradyut of being a BJP front?
Well, I'm no one to accuse anyone of anything, but the figures will tell you and the vote share will tell you that there's a real possibility that the anti-BJP vote, which is specifically the tribal votes in non-tribal seats, which should have gone to the non-BJP camp, went to Tripura Motha, for which it did not consolidate on the winning side. That's a real possibility.
Okay, because it is a complex state. Sudeep Dev Burman is one of the few leaders of Tripura who, irrespective of what happens elsewhere, tends to win his seat. He's now with the Congress, and we don't know exactly who's winning which seat at the moment, Dev Burman. But Sudeep, do you accept that this alliance on the ground has not worked? Left Congress, you have actually opened up the space for the BJP to consolidate among the majority Bengali community, particularly because there was an aggressive campaign launched by Tripura Motha, so the tribals were getting consolidated, and so have the Bengalis. The Congress left has lost out. The left is losing out in the tribal areas, you are losing out in the Bengali speaking areas.
Razip, I humbly differ with whatever projection you are showing in the name of exit poll. Don't take it otherwise. We have our organization, so does the left across the state. You ask the BJP guys, the Tripura Motha workers, leaders, or Susmita Di, or whosoever is there in your show, and you know the answer best. We have not witnessed even a single channel on the day of poll to gather the information from the electors who just casted their votes and came out of the polling booths. Nowhere this mechanism worked out in our state, but you are terming all these figures as exit poll. So at the initial stage, I humbly differ to call it an exit poll.
No, it's not an
Well,
exit poll. It's a post-poll study. It's actually much better than an exit poll because once polling is concluded, in a scientifically
no.
determined fashion, our pollsters go
No, then-
to the
then-
residence
then
of people who have actually
then-
cast their mandate. I've been part of some of
No.
these polls. They see who's voted, sir, and that's how
Fine.
they determine in a far more
then-
scientific manner than just randomly standing outside a polling booth.
Okay, fine. Then the term you should use is the opinion. I can humbly differ with that, but you can use it as not an exit poll. You can term it as an opinion poll. So far as your opinion poll is concerned, which you are projecting right now, I humbly differ with you. Why? The reason. The statement that you are, or observation that you are making, that Tripura Motha has, you say, garnered all the tribal votes. Yes, it's a fact, almost a chunk of the voters they have garnered. But in those seats, in those constituencies, apart from I stand to correct Ms. Verma on this, not 21, it is 20 ST reserved seats where there's a contest. This apart, there are another 20 odd seats where the tribal electors do have a significant role in determining the prospect of the candidate. In those constituencies, in the last elections, if you kindly go through the booth-wise result sheet, it was in those constituencies where the tribal vote completely shifted towards the BJP ensuring the win of those candidates from the unreserved seats. But this time around, the Tripura Motha contesting, that tribal votes having gone shifted to Tripura Motha in those unreserved seats, is now a topsy-turvy situation for the BJP to win those seats.
No, what you're forgetting, Mr. Dev Burman, Sudeep Roy Burman, what you're forgetting is that that in those seats, what we are also seeing is the Bengali vote consolidating. You see, the Congress left alliance is being hit on both sides. The Tripura Motha is taking the tribal vote and the BJP is consolidating the Bengali vote. You've got stuck. Your voter is not transferring his or her votes to the left, your traditional enemy, and the left is getting a beating, particularly because Tripura Motha is striking in traditional left bastions.
Okay. That's the point where you made a mistake in West Bengal. So to read the mentality of the Bengalis, especially in West Bengal, in Tripura, you have misread them in West Bengal also. You are now misreading in the minds and the hearts of the Bengali voters in Tripura also. In Tripura, this time around, in these elections, people were so upset with the BJP because of the misrule and the lawlessness of the state. They have cheated the people, the trust of the people in these last 5 years. All the democratic rights have been stolen away. The constitution is completely invalid in the state of Tripura. And, you know, in Bengali, we term as akrosh. ये आक्रोश का वोट था अभी इस चुनाव में 4 बजे सवेरे 4 बजे in the morning at 4 a.m. in the morning we witnessed huge quantum of voters congregating in the polling booth area.
You know, this akrosh that you're talking about, Kaushik, you know, the interesting thing that one noticed was actually, and that's where Rahul, I think the BJP pulled a rabbit out of the hat by removing Biplab Deb. The akrosh was very much there, say locals, but particularly against Biplab Deb. The manner in which he was running the state, the so-called bike bahinis, these youth who were running amok in several parts, there was charges of corruption. Did the BJP, if these numbers are right, just get that right? If they survive Tripura, is because they changed the chief minister at the right time.
That's one of the factors, that they changed the chief minister, but we must also focus on this, that 8% more females have voted in favor of BJP compared to males. This is a significant number because if you look at Tripura's history, it has seen lots of electoral violence and always dominated by cadres, earlier the left cadres. So that atmosphere of violence, BJP could control to some extent. Of course, it also had its own bike bahini, but at the same time, all the rations going to households and all that, these things actually make more impact on the women of the house.
So, let's talk a bit about that. If you look at the
reason.
gender-wise vote share, the BJP alliance has 49% of the women vote and 41% of the male vote. This is the gender-wise vote share. The left and the Congress alliance has 34% of the male vote and 30% of the female vote. So 8% more women have voted for the BJP than men. And Rajdeep, we saw this in Bihar. We've seen this in Uttar Pradesh, where it is because of security, because of the Labharti schemes, women seem to help the BJP get that extra bump. The gap, there's a gap in both places, but the gap amongst women is 19%, the gap amongst men between the BJP and the left Congress is 7%.
And the only state, Rahul, which I can recall in the last few years, which has defied these numbers is Bengal, where you had a woman chief minister in Mamata Banerjee who consciously targeted the woman vote with series of schemes like Kanya Shri, Rupa Shri, directed at the woman voter. Similarly, Prime Minister Modi's central government schemes, whether it's Ujjwala, whether it's even Jan Dhan, all of them in a sense, women beneficiaries seem to be more enthused about it than men. And number two, the point that Kaushik made, we heard this in Agartala and places around, that we feel much more safe and secure today than we felt 10 years ago. The fact that you can go out for an 8 p.m. film, which earlier you could not in Tripura, was seen to make a difference. So while there was Akrosh, the Akrosh is there. The Biplab Deb 4 years have had a lot of resentment from a number of people. Women voters in general were happy with the central government schemes and they were happy with safety and security.
And it builds on the theory within the BJP that if your chief minister is unpopular, change him. There was a back and forth in the BJP on the question of Jairam Thakur in Himachal Pradesh. They finally didn't change him, paid the consequence, and now you got Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu. So those who ask for change will say, see, we changed Biplab Deb. If you see the question of who would you like should be the next chief minister of the state of Tripura, 27% are rooting for the dentist Manik Saha. Only 3% wanted Biplab Deb to be chief minister. Pratima Bhaumik came in at 1. Any other candidate from the BJP was 14. Jitendra Chaudhary came in at 14%. Manik Sarkar, the former chief minister, at 5. Any other candidate from the left front at 8. Sudeep Roy Burman, who's on our show, came in at 3. Any other Congress candidate at 2. Pradyut Bikram Debarman came at 11%.
And in a way, it wasn't easy. Biplab Deb was the strong man. And if you recall, when Manik Saha replaced him, chairs were thrown in the BJP Tripura office. There was a threat of violence. So it wasn't easy to replace him with someone who was a relative non-entity. Just a Rajya Sabha MP who had never contested a state election.
How is he managed then?
I'll tell you what he did. You see, sometimes when you put up someone who is non-confrontational, it's easier for him to bring everyone together. You see, there was a contest there where various candidates wanted to replace Biplab Deb. The BJP chose virtually someone from the outside. And thereby, none of the groups could claim victory over the other. It's a very interesting formula to take a relatively non-controversial figure and make him chief minister.
He was perhaps non-entity before he became the CM. But after he became the CM, he handled it really well. And we must not forget that 2 persons backed him. 2 big shots. One, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, and the other one is Assam CM Himanta Biswa Sarma, who called all the shots in Northeast. So, but credit must be given to Manik Saha because he handled it very well. He was not threat to anyone, but he also took everyone together.
So if this,
still there is a challenge. As you see another name, Pratima Bhaumik, she is also aspiring to be the next CM, and Manik Saha has the tag of not being the original BJP.
It's interesting.
Neither
these
is
numbers.
Himanta, that doesn't matter.
Yes, but in Tripura politics, the hold that Himanta Biswa Sarma has over Assam politics or Assam BJP, Manik Saha doesn't have that hold on Tripura BJP. So of course those challenges will be there, but I think as the public figure also shows, and BJP internally would keep him.
Before we take a break, maybe we should go just to ask Sanju Verma, is this the formula? When there is anti-incumbency, when your numbers are showing anti-incumbency, change the chief minister. Is that the way forward for the BJP? Change your chief minister and arrest anti-incumbency. You have 4 years. You did it with Vijay Rupani in Gujarat. You done it in Tripura. You've done it in Uttarakhand. You didn't do it in Himachal.
Rajdeep, I thought that we are not going to have our powwows today. But I'm surprised. Actually, I'm amused that each time the BJP is on a winning spree, you say, oh, consolidation of bong votes, opposition did not put up a good fight, there was polarization, blah, blah. I just want to say one thing to you, and please listen very carefully. I think the only thing that has really worked for the BJP again and again and again is the fact that people and political pundits, with no offense to none, have completely ignored the Labharti model. Do you know something? Today, Tripura is the logistics hub of the Northeast. Our trade with Bangladesh and between Tripura has risen by 158%. 3.93 lakh Tripura households have access to clean drinking water thanks to Jal Jeevan Mission. 13 lakh Ayushman cards were issued in Tripura and the total beneficiaries are 1.84 lakh women. Do you know that there's 33% reservation in government jobs for women in Tripura? Do you know that 2 special fast-track courts to reduce child trafficking have been opened in Agartala and Kalia?
Mentioned all of that.
No, this is the problem. You don't listen.
Sanju,
we just
said
mentioned
all
that.
of it.
You will not listen to these data points. You're obsessed with, consolidation, polarization, change of chief minister. Arre, kabhi to credit de diya kijiye.
No, but we just mentioned, Sanjuji, that the BJP had a 8% lead amongst women in comparison to their vote share amongst men, and that's a
TMC is wiped out. Congress is wiped out.
TMC wiped out. He did say it.
I think I mentioned, ma'am. I don't think sometimes you listen to me. That's okay. I said that because of a better law and order situation, because of the success of centrally government schemes, women are voting in larger numbers than men.
Wiped out. Wiped out. TMC wiped out.
Sushmita Dev, this is the 4th time she's saying TMC wiped out.
TMC wiped out. TMC wiped out.
No, but Rajdeep, at some level, you interviewed Abhishek while you were eating in the Northeast. But this is a problem, right? They went and they contested like they did in Goa with so much fanfare. If you hear that Abhishek Banerjee interview, it looks like the fight is between the TMC and the BJP.
No, you see, let's be fair to Abhishek in this regard. Their battle is Meghalaya.
Sure.
That's the state where they have put their maximum resources. Interestingly though, Tripura was their original battleground.
Sure.
20 years ago, Mamata Banerjee was also contesting election in Tripura in the belief that if she consolidated the Bengali vote there, this was the natural state to go to given the Bengali population. It didn't work out that way. Even those who won on a Trinamool Congress ticket post-election would go and join the Congress. So I think Mamata Banerjee, this is again, one size doesn't fit all. Just because I'm a Bengali voting for Mamata in Bengal doesn't mean I'm necessarily voting for her in Tripura. The geographies of these states are very different. Sanju Verma is quite right. I think the BJP has invested a lot of its political capital in these social welfare schemes for Tripura, and they're working. Now, she gets angry when I say, even if I praise the BJP, I can't do anything about that.
TMC and Congress wiped out. Can you say that once for me? TMC and Congress wiped out.
As per the exit poll, Sanju Verma, I'll say it as per the exit.
Can you say that for me on screen? TMC wiped out, Congress wiped out, left wiped out. Please say that once, Rajdeep.
Okay, as per the exit poll, the TMC is wiped out and the Congress and the left are doing badly. This is as per an exit poll. Remember, Sanju Verma, the results are on the 1st of March, and who knows, or 2nd of March rather, and who knows what happens then. But I'm glad you're feeling good by me saying that. I have absolutely no problem. मैं उसी कुर्सी पर रहता हूं, आप जीते वो जीते, मेरी जिंदगी बदलती नहीं है, आप लोगों की जिंदगी बदलती है. You get a little bit of a smile. We need to take a break now. Okay, madam. Remember, अरे बाप रे, relax. You need to really, relax. I will send you some yoga techniques that are being taught to me. It's a good way of relaxing.
Okay, Rajdeep teaching Sanju Verma yoga.
No, not me. I'll send her a yoga teacher.
He's not going to
not me myself.
Okay.
You can send Ramdev.
We can send Ramdev. Okay.
All quips aside, the BJP coming back to Tripura is a big achievement. This is the one state outside Assam where they won big in 2018. To be able to repeat that after having changed the chief minister and facing some midterm turbulence is a significant achievement. We will slip into a break. When we come back, we'll look at Meghalaya, we look at Nagaland, and we look at the big picture emerging from all these states. So details coming up on the other side of a very quick break. You're watching India Today's coverage of the Access My India exit poll for the 3 northeastern states.
तो जैसे सबसे तेज आपकी टैगलाइन है, तो इसी तरह से सबसे तेज हमारी सरकार की लाइफलाइन है.
Leader must have a vision.
We will continue to work with the developing and the developed world for win-win solutions.
Nature had of course willed the survival of the fittest.
हम आतंकवाद के खिलाफ जीरो टॉलरेंस की पॉलिसी को अपनाए हुए हैं.
1 साल के अंदर राहुल कन्वर की कार जो होगी वो इलेक्ट्रिक की होगी.
There is a confrontation of competing visions.
इस बार जो सीजन है गर्मी का वो सामान्य से ज़्यादा गर्मी देखेगा और जो बारिश और जो प्री मानसून गतिविधियां वो भी थोड़ी सी कम हो सकती हैं और जो टेम्परेचर है वो और हीट वेव की जो इंटेंसिटी और फ्रीक्वेंसी है वो ज़्यादा हो सकती है.
A weather expert confirming what the Aam Aadmi has known for the past week. The summers are here, well before time. The maximum temperature in Delhi has crossed 33 degrees, while IMD has warned about a heat wave with temperatures up to 38 degrees in Konkan, Goa and Gujarat. But it's the heat wave hitting Punjab and Haryana which is worrying policymakers the most. Temperatures are touching 30 degrees, nearly 5 notches above the normal. The dry weather conditions and rising temperatures have badly hit the winter crops like leafy vegetables, peas and onions in Punjab. There are apprehensions that the terminal heat this winter season may result in shriveled grains, which means a drop in the yield. A Business Today TV team met farmers in Punjab who feared their wheat output may also be hit. Daljit Singh of Azizpur village increased the sowing area of his wheat crop this year, hoping to recover some of the losses he incurred last year. But the sudden rise in temperatures has left him worried.
गर्मी की वजह से ना छोटा रह सकता है दाना जी. हाँ जी, फिर ठंड पैंदी जी तो झाड़ बढ़िया निकल आए.
Another farmer, Gurbachan Singh, who grows other crops like onions, peas, cauliflower and mustard, is also worried.
ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਰਦੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਕਣਕ ਮਾ ਵੀ ਝਾੜ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤੇਲੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਹੋਰ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਕਈ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ, ਕੀੜਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ. ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜੇ ਮਟਰ ਸੁੱਕਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਗਰਮੀ ਆਏ, ਜੇ ਠੰਡ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਮਟਰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ. ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਈ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ ਜੀ ਜਾਂ ਗੋਭੀ ਸਰੋਂ ਆ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੇਲੀਆ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ, ਸਪਰੇਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ.
The Agriculture Ministry had forecast a wheat harvest of 112 million tons this year, a rise of 4% over last year. The Met Department has however hinted that the rising temperatures can result in a dropped wheat yield. According to reports, the Food Corporation of India may be forced to advance wheat procurement by a week. There are various ways the wheat crop can be hit this year. Not only can the premature rise in temperatures lower the wheat yield, it may also result in early maturity of the crop. Experts say some areas may see wheat production dip by 10 to 15%. The worst hit will be late sown varieties.
Abhishek, you are launching these prestige brands, but there are lots of smaller companies which are coming out with interesting products. Particularly, I mean, if you go to Goa, there are these craft gins which are coming up. They are not huge in size. And we saw that Greater Than Gin was quite a success before Diageo bought a stake in that company. Have you considered the option of picking up some of these smaller brands, or does it make more sense for you to build rather than buy?
Radico.
Welcome back. You're watching our special coverage of the Axis My India exit poll for India today on the 3 northeastern states, 2 of which voted today, Meghalaya and Nagaland. We found out what's likely to happen in Tripura. Now let's turn to Nagaland, one of the more fascinating states, Rahul, because it is a difficult state to gauge given the topography at times, but our sample goes to over 6,132 across the 60 assembly constituencies, representative of all the various segments. But what are the numbers saying, Rahul?
In Nagaland, the National Democratic Progressive Party, the NDPP, and the BJP are contesting in a 40-20 seat share ratio. This is the same as the 2018 elections. I'll start with the vote share for Nagaland. Axis My India predicts for India today that the NDPP will increase its vote share for 25 to 33. The BJP will increase its vote share from 15 to 16. So 1% gain for the BJP, 8% gain for the NDPP. That gives the alliance a vote share of 49%. As far as the Congress is concerned, its vote share goes up from 2 to 10. The NPF, the Naga People's Front vote share goes up from 39, comes down from 39 to 13%. And when we convert this into seats, let's take a look at what happens when this is converted into seats. Now, in the 2018 assembly elections, the NDPP had 18 seats. That now is predicted to go up to between 28 and 34. The BJP had 12 seats. I'm not talking about the by-poll results. I'm talking about what happened in the assembly elections. The BJP had 12 seats. That's likely to now be in the range of 10 to 14. So essentially in Nagaland, whether it is in terms of votes or in seats, the BJP stays roughly where it was the last time round. It is the NDPP which has increased its seat share and its vote share quite remarkably. An 8% projected increase in vote share, at least a 10%. It could go up to 16, but at least a 10 seat increase in terms of its seat share. The Congress's seat share in 2018 was 0. It could be now between 1 and 2. The NPF was at 26 seats. That could be between 3 and 8. So Rajdeep, essentially, it is the NDPP which has the BJP on its back, but it seems whether it is in Tripura or even in Nagaland, the BJP has some part of the post-poll government that's likely to be formed.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the significance, Rahul, of this, remember, this is a Christian-dominated state.
Correct.
So in a Christian-dominated state, the BJP clearly is making inroads. Is that a message for neighboring Meghalaya as well? We'll find out. But I think what is fascinating about Nagaland, and Kaushik can share more details, is the opposition there has got squeezed out over the years. It's got squeezed out by a mix of shifting alliances. The main opposition party was the NPF, the Naga People's Front. Most of the MLAs shifted after the last election. 21 of them joined the NDPP. Then it ties up with the BJP. The opposition space gets squeezed out. Plus, there's a lot of use of money power. You know, the money power that you need once you have the sort of benevolence of the center enables you to have a huge advantage in Nagaland. There have been already even today allegations of proxy voting, of irregularities, of even, you know, the kind of things that you used to hear in other parts of the country like booth capturing. But clearly more than that, it's just the opposition space is completely vacated and the entire space occupied by NDPP along with the BJP. You agree with that, Kaushik? Nagaland now is clearly whoever ties up with the BJP takes over the state.
The most interesting part is the decline of the Congress.
Yes.
Nagaland is, as you mentioned, it's a Christian state, 71%, or I may be wrong about the figure. And still, BJP is 75%, and BJP is gaining ground over there. And Congress is almost 0. It's unlikely to win any seats, though we are giving 1 or 2 seats. You are talking about NDPP. NDPP is actually NPF. It was earlier NPF led by the same CM Rio. Rio rebelled against NPF, created NDPP, and then later when he came to power, he gobbled up the NDPP. So NDPP's vote share is actually not going up. It's actually NPF, almost all around 21 MLAs had joined NDPP. So it's the NPF cluster vote share. But the Congress, where is it now? It used to be the opposition when Rio was the CM earlier.
He was a Congress CM for a while.
Yeah,
so
he was. Then he rebelled, and slowly the Congress saw a decline. And in a state where the BJP, it's not an organic state for BJP, which is seen as a Hindutva party. So it's very interesting how with hard work and the RSS, because RSS is very active in Nagaland, the BJP has made inroads into a state like Nagaland.
Let's bring in Sujata Paul, spokesperson Congress, who's been in Nagaland for the last month. Sujata, it appears at the moment that the Congress is getting squeezed out again. You got squeezed out in Tripura, where you were the major opposition for years, and you're getting squeezed out in Nagaland as well, where the BJP is making gains. That's why I said these elections are important from a national picture, that wherever it's BJP, Congress, the BJP, either with a regional party or on their own, are making gains.
The fact is that in Nagaland, democracy has been murdered big time today. And not just today, if you look at the pre-poll violence which was happening, it was signifying something. And the Gaoburas or the village councils about whom the Prime Minister spoke on the 24th of February when he came to Dimapur, those people are supposed to have met the Prime Minister. And today, it is the village councils which are not allowing people to vote. And I have letters with me. If you look at a letter from Kushiabil village council in Dimapur 3 constituency, we find that the NDPP official in that council is the chairperson. And he has said that only one person from one family is going to vote. Is this democracy? Can I complete?
Please complete.
Yes, so if you move towards Tizit, from where I'm getting phone calls, and we can see EVMs lying on the ground, and people were stopped from voting, people were intimidated, there was vandalism, people were not allowed to come out of their homes, and proxy voting has happened big time. In another one, Aulandon, where our candidate is so strong that the BJP and the NDPP, what they're trying to do is not just suppress democracy, but they're also trying to make them surrender after campaigning is over. Is that possible in any part of the country?
No, but that is something, ma'am, we go by the numbers. That's for you to battle it out with the election commission. There's an election commission presumably in this country. So you can't hold that alone responsible, because the margin is huge. That can be one factor.
No.
It cannot explain the slide of your party.
No, not at all. Rajdeep, this is what I'm trying to tell you. That people stand with the Congress even today. Even if you go into a village, people will say that we want to vote for the Congress party. But if democracy is going to be murdered in this way, and election commission is not going to take action, obviously this is not a free and fair election. But people have Congress not just in their hearts, but they want to go and vote for the Congress party. If they're not going to be allowed to vote, how do you expect this to be a free and fair election? These are questions that I want to ask.
Okay, sure.
Also. And I have put, Rahul, I've also put up a whole lot of videos on my Twitter account, and you can see that women are standing with papers with, they have written over there that please let us vote, because these are all Congress supporters who were not allowed to vote at all. And it's not just 1, 2 or, some people, but in the 23 constituencies where
this can't be umbrella by the Congress.
Okay, Sujata, you've made your point. I just want to point out to our viewers, the NDPP BJP combined vote share is likely to be around 49%. The Congress's vote share around 10. There's a 39% gap between the BJP, NDPP and the Congress. Now, I just want to point out, when the question was asked, why are you voting for the party that you are? For the development of the state, said 34% of the respondents, which essentially means, and this has happened in the Northeast in the past, that whichever is the party that rules at the center, Northeastern states often feel that hitching their fortunes to that party's bandwagon at that point in time is the most opportune thing to do, because the number of people asking for change or based on work, unemployment, those are far smaller factors. And in that context, Sanju Verma, the BJP is leveraging its presence at the center to make inroads into states like Nagaland, where the demography typically would not suit the BJP, and therefore very smartly being able to extend its footprint even in a state like Nagaland.
Rahul, you've given out the numbers, and since Rajdeep advised me about yoga, so मैंने सोचा कि let me not be belligerent and let me start with a bit of shairi. If you remember a few weeks back, Pradhan Mantri on the floor of the Lok Sabha, he said something. I want to repeat that because the timing could not have been better. तुम्हारे नीचे से जमीन निकल गई है, तुम्हारे नीचे से जमीन निकल गई है, और कमाल तो ये है तुम्हें अब भी यकीन नहीं है। तुम्हारे पांव के नीचे से जमीन निकल गई है, पर कमाल तो ये है तुम्हें अब भी यकीन नहीं है। एंड दैट इज द कंडीशन of a tattered and fractured Congress, which refuses, like the proverbial ostrich with its head under the sand, to look at. You know, I did not heckle this lady. Can you please stop her from heckling me? I was quiet throughout.
She heard you. She had her hand out, but she was quiet all through. Let us speak.
I was quiet, so please keep quiet now. It's not your turn. Digest the fact that you are a nobody in a party that is increasingly becoming completely irrelevant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rahul, can you ask this lady to please keep quiet?
No, come on now. Sanju Verma, you go ahead. We've got one more guest to come to. Quickly respond.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, so the point is this. Democracy khatre mein hai. You know, proxy votes are being registered. EVMs are not working. I'm sorry. This is a broken record and the electorate is not willing to digest this bunch of regressive lies anymore. I want to just ask one very important thing. Why is it that the fact that the vote share and seat share as per your exit poll of the NPF has come down drastically? They won about 26 seats last time and you're not giving them more than 3 to 8 seats. But look at the fact that the NPF decline has not been capitalized by the Congress, which traditionally should have been the case. The decline in NPF seat share and vote share has been capitalized by Rio's NDPP or the BJP, which has managed to hold on to its seats. It will get 10 to 14, it got 12 last time. But look at the phenomenal rise in the NDPP's seats. I mean, from 18 seats, you're giving them 28 to 34. I mean, if they go at the upper end of what you're projecting, it's almost a doubling of what they got in 2018. And that is because, again, of the Labharti model. And one very important point which you need to know is that prior to the elections in Nagaland, Amit Shah personally went and met the key people, the key stakeholders of the Eastern Naga People's Organization, who had threatened a boycott and said they will not allow peaceful polling. But the fact that the ENPO, the Eastern Naga People's Organization, has stood in solidarity with the BJP and the NDPP is a major factor.
Okay, you made your point. Actually, one of the reasons, ma'am, just a minute now. Producer, director, you've got to, okay, the fact is, the major reason is one of those social welfare schemes, free ration, relatively poorer part of the country, 62%.
No, and a lot of these are very small constituencies where individuals matter.
Sure.
Out of the 25 NPF candidates, 21 went and joined the NDPP.
Look, there is an element, Rahul, in these small states of transactional politics where money does play a role. Let's not minimize that. But I think the gap clearly shows that the BJP has worked at it, worked with the regional party in a state which is Christian dominated, I reiterate, and that's a big change. Afrida, you've been traveling through Nagaland. Does this conform with what you saw, that the NDPP is a dominant force now along with the BJP?
Yes, NDPP is a dominant force in Nagaland because, see, NDPP is nothing but a NPF. And Meghalaya, well, he was a former CM. When he got splitted, then Rio has formed the alliance with the BJP government in 2018 election, and then he formed NDPP. Yes, NDPP is a dominant. One more factor is there because, see, Nagaland is a state where it is run by the parallel government. You can see there are lots of groups like the NSCN and the NNPGs, then ENPO of Eastern Nagaland. The Rio have a very good dominance in all over this whole groups who are asking for the separate flag, the Naga peace talk, and also the separate state for the Eastern Nagaland. So Rio has a control over all of them, and that's why BJP was not in a position to compromise with this 30, where this pattern, the deputy CM of Nagaland was demanding the 30 seats for the BJP. But BJP was not in a position to take that risk because they are well aware of that. The Rio and the Jellian, both of the factors in Nagaland who have a dominance over these militant groups as well as this ENPO.
We're going to slip into a quick break. When we come back, we'll shift our attention to Meghalaya, which to my mind, just purely from a data and encephalogical perspective, seems to be the most exciting election of the three, because there is a twist in the tail and there is uncertainty about what may happen on the 2nd of March. So the India Today, Access My India results for the state of Meghalaya come up on the other side of a quick break. India's top pollster Pradeep Gupta also joins us in the studio for his analysis of Meghalaya and the overall picture. Details coming up on the other side of a quick break.
We'll be back in a moment. Meghalaya is up next.
The biggest arrest in Delhi Liquorgate probe. But what tilted the scale against Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal's Hanuman, the number 2 in his cabinet? CBI in a release said that Sisodia was arrested for irregularities in framing and implementing the excise policy, adding that Sisodia was evasive in answering when confronted with documentary and digital proofs. CBI sources say that Sisodia gave a standard "I don't know" to most of the questions.
Sources say when Manish Sisodia was confronted with the statement given by that bureaucrat, Manish Sisodia failed to answer most of the questions pertaining to the implementation, changes in the draft policy, and most importantly, the profit margin, which was increased to 12%. Based on which the CBI decided to arrest the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi.
The confession by a top Delhi government official who served in the excise department proved clincher for CBI in arresting Sisodia. The Babu, while being questioned by CBI, termed Sisodia as the mastermind of the new liquor policy, saying that the Deputy CM had personally made changes to the controversial liquor policy. While many of the phones used to strike Liquorgate deals were allegedly destroyed, forensic tests showed that proposals were sent to the bureaucrat's mobile using WhatsApp.
सीबीआई सूत्रों का यह कहना है कि उस अधिकारी ने अपने बयान में कहा हुआ था कि जब मनीष सिसोदिया आबकारी मंत्री थे उस वक्त उन्होंने ही निर्देश दिया हुआ था शराब नीति में बदलाव करने का और उनके ही निर्देश पर जो मुनाफा था उसे बढ़ाकर 12% कर दिया गया था जिसका सीधा फायदा शराब व्यापारियों को हो रहा था.
Probe officials also point to the fact that suspiciously reports of an expert committee was completely changed by forming a group of ministers and concealing an earlier note. Lastly, the profit margin for liquor sellers was just 5% in the original policy. But under the new policy, it went up to 12% at the behest of the Southern Liquor Lobby. With Munish Pandey in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Once again to our special coverage, the Axis My India exit poll of the 3 big states from the northeast that have gone to the polls. Rahul and I are coming with the numbers, the first big numbers of 2023, and possibly, Rahul, I don't think when last has the Northeast been covered so extensively in an exit poll. So that
Well, we did it the last time as well.
but not so. I think the tyranny of distance is slowly but surely being
We
overcome.
are trying to shatter your notion of tyranny of
It still exists. We need to do more, but these are the headlines. The India Today Axis My India exit poll projects a big BJP win in Tripura. NDPP BJP alliance set to form a government in Nagaland. Numbers of Meghalaya coming up.
CBI gets 5-day custody of Manish Sisodia in the Delhi liquor scam. Our protest calls it an emergency-like situation in India.
Prime Minister Yediyurappa Bonhomi in Shivamoga sets speculation. Is this a clear message that Yediyurappa still remains the BJP's tallest figure in poll-bound Karnataka?
One of the accused in the Umesh Pal murder case is killed in an encounter in Prayagraj by the UP police. This days after Yogi Adityanath's Mitti Mein Mila Denge warning.
Saurabh Ganguly says it could take Rishabh Pant as much as 2 years to return to the team. The wicketkeeper batsman still in recovery after a horrific car crash he was involved in December last year. Okay, we've given you the numbers of Tripura where we are predicting that the BJP is heading for a clear victory. We've given you the numbers of Nagaland where the ruling NDPP of Nefu Rio along with the BJP is again expected to score a victory. The most complicated and difficult state in a way is the next one, a beautiful state of Meghalaya, because the politics of Meghalaya is not as beautiful as the natural beauty. And often post-poll alliances mean there are no permanent friends or enemies in the politics of the state. As per our survey, we've gone to 59 out of 60 assembly constituencies in the Axis My India poll, a sample size of 6,037. Rahul.
So Meghalaya is one of the most fascinating states politically. It's changed 25 chief ministers in 45 years. Average term of a chief minister is about 2 years. Only 2 chief ministers have completed their full tenure. Mukul Sangma in 2013 and once before that, Meghalaya Democratic Alliance, the NPP-led alliance completing its term. So let's take our viewers through what's likely to happen in Meghalaya. I'll start with the vote share percentages where the NPP, which contested 57 seats, is likely to pick up about 29% of the vote share. In 2018, they had 21% of the vote share. The Congress's vote share is likely to crash from 29 to 19, so a 10% decline in Congress's vote share. It used to be 35% in 2013, so a secular decline for the Congress's vote share. The Trinamool Congress, which poached Mukul Sangma, is projected to get about 16% of the vote share. This is where the likes of Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee, hoping Trinamool will do well, expected to emerge as the number 3 party in the state at 16% vote share. The BJP likely to pick up about 14% of the vote share. The BJP had 10% of the vote share in the 2018 assembly elections. The UDP at 11%. So at 12% last time, 11% this time. Let's now convert this into seats. Now this is where things get really exciting. The NPP is expected to bag between 18 and 24. Remember, last time in 2018, the NPP had 19 seats. The Congress's seat share last time was 21. That's likely to crash to between 6 and 12. The Trinamool didn't open its account last time. This time could be between 5 and 9 seats with about 16% of the vote share. The BJP had 2 seats the last time, 4 to 8. The UDP had 6 seats last time, this time between 8 and 12. Rajdeep, outside of all the food, tell me, how will the government be formed? Where does Conrad Sangma go? Where is the government likely to get formed?
Well, who better to answer that, not me, but Conrad Sangma himself. He is joining us at this very moment. Conrad Sangma, welcome to the show. It appears at the moment you're party number 1, but you're not in a position to get a majority on your own. Not unexpected, 18 to 24. Remember, no party in Meghalaya has got a majority since 1972, only that first election they did. To answer Rahul's question, how are you going to form a government? How do you see these exit poll findings, Conrad?
Well, we had always expressed to everybody that we will do better than what we did last time. And that's the trend that we're seeing in all the exit polls. I do expect that since these exit polls were conducted till the polling took place, we expect that trend to move even further. So I do expect the numbers to be on the higher side of the exit polls that you're showing. And based on the results that will come out in the second, we will decide on how to move forward based on what will be in the best interest for the people.
Okay, just stay with us. Kaushik Deka, what's Conrad Sangma likely to do?
Sorry?
I believe...
just one second, Conrad. I want to ask Kaushik Deka
I believe
what Conrad is likely to do, then get you to respond.
If he needs the numbers, he will of course approach the smaller parties and of course BJP.
You want to answer that once and for all. Will you go back to, someone sent me a message on Facebook the other day saying, don't trust what Conrad Sangma or Amit Shah are saying. They're actually in secret conversation with each other. This is only Noora Kushti. After the election, they will come back together.
See, in election campaigning, I've always maintained that we go to the people and we campaign all out with all our ideologies and all our stands and whatever we think we need to say to the people. And based on that, if the mandate does not come and we get a fractured mandate, well, the limitations are there for us to figure out how we can provide a proper and stable government. There's nothing, to hide in that. So the point is that ultimately we will have to look at what will be the best option to be able to provide that stable government and the best government in the best interest of the state. So we will look at all the options.
If I were to deconstruct what you're saying, in the best interest of the state, the most stable government is likely to be an NPP-BJP combine. Is that what you're essentially indicating towards, that you have nothing against going back to them again?
So I know, I've been very clear, we have nothing against anybody. See, I think this is very important to note that when the 5 years when we worked together, it's not that we started falling apart, that we contested against each other. We made a conscious decision together to fight separately. So it's not that, not that the differences started coming up. So fighting separately was a conscious decision we made, knowing that we are in the government together. We will work, we will complete our term, we'll fight the election, and then we'll see how things go. We'll take a decision when the time comes.
No, but you see, it's not just so simple, Conrad. During the campaign, Amit Shah said this is the most corrupt, inefficient government. I mean, it's bizarre. Look at what the people of Meghalaya will think, that you are the leader of your ally calls you the most corrupt and inefficient government, and now you're telling us in the best interest you all could tie up. What does that suggest? That this was actually shadow boxing?
If you look at the statements that were made by Amit Shah during the thing, the rally he had here, it was generalized statement saying that the past governments is not very specifically saying that Conrad Sangma-led government. So you can divert it and put it into whatever way you want to put it.
No, come on, Conrad Sangma, you're an honest man. You can't say that to me. He said very clearly that this government of Meghalaya has been the most corrupt and inefficient in the history of the state. You are the chief minister of that government. Today with these numbers, you could well be turning to the same person who called you corrupt. I know that's all part of politics, but how does that, reflect on elections in Meghalaya?
If you look at the statements made by the government of the central government, the NDA government, they have always talked plus about us in the last 5 years if you look at all the work that has been done. So it's up to you which statement you want to take.
Is this, Pradeep Gupta, just very smart tactically? Fight separately, that way you get both the Christian and the Hindu vote, and then see what happens post the elections?
No, actually, as far as BJP goes, they are clearly riding on their welfare schemes for the state and for the all India for that matter. But it is very clear in our poll, UDP, you are ignoring UDP here, which is likely to get 8 to 12 seats, and NPP 18 to 24 seats. Even if you take the lower range of NPP, which is likely to get 18 seats, and higher range of UDP, which is 12, and PDF. Remember, last time also, Conrad had the alliance with UDP and PDF, which won 2 seats, and this time also they are likely to win 2 seats.
So how do you think the government will get formed?
It's very simple between NPP, UDP, PDF and HS, PDP likely to get 1 seat which they want. So I think if our poll is right, bang on, then I don't think they will need BJP to...
No, but BJP would give stability, it will ensure he gets funds, and therefore it's always good for a Northeast party to have the BJP on its ticket.
That is the given fact. All northeastern states, and for that matter, all the hilly states has to depend on Kendra Sarkar. Without that, hardly any resources.
So you're essentially saying that the NPP can form a government even without the BJP?
I'm saying there is a possibility. That is a possibility, but on the other hand...
But all the newsmakers, which is like Conrad Sangma is the only one who's live right now. He says, whatever happens, I am king. Now I have a couple of options. Let's see who falls in line.
I'll tell you there's one option, and maybe Conrad can respond to that, because this is what I heard in Shillong. That for the last 13 years, you've had Garo chief ministers, Mukul Sangma for 8 years, and then Conrad Sangma for 5. We want a Khasi chief minister. The UDP, if it does on the higher end and Conrad is on the lower end, then you have the possibility of the UDP saying we want to be kings, not kingmakers. And someone like Metma Lingdo says it's our turn now. Conrad Sangma, is that a possibility, or do you believe that with these numbers, even at the lower end, you will form a government, possibly with the BJP? That's the more likely option. How do you see it? Is the UDP the X factor?
See, we cannot say anything right now because these are pre-poll, the predictions, exit polls. So therefore, I think giving a statement on the basis of exit poll right now, a political statement would not be appropriate. We will decide when the numbers come out. As I said, we are keeping options open, and we will see how to move forward, keeping in mind, as I said, the overall stability of the government.
So Rajdeep wants a twist in the story. He's suggesting a UDP Congress TMC alliance, where you send post-poll alliance, where essentially UDP can be CM, Congress won't have a problem with that if they
Congress won't go with the TMC. So, it's
but
very unlikely.
But then they won't form the
unless the TMC joins the BJP.
I can stick my neck out and predict. It will be the same government, NPP, BJP and some other smaller parties,
right.
and I don't think the CM will be changed.
That's right. So Conrad Sangma, what's your song for tonight? As you head, what is the? You had a tough campaign. All the focus has been on you. What's going to be your song? Aaj raat ko jab sogo, kaun sa gana hoga? What was the last time you sang a song for me, which created a buzz?
I can't remember.
नहीं तू देना साथ मेरा.
You were the one singing.
नहीं तू देना साथ मेरा ओ हम नवाज. Wasn't that the song?
Yes.
Who is he saying that to? Himanta Biswa Sarma?
All.
Or is he saying it to Mr. Amit Shah?
What was the song, Conrad? Come on.
To BJP brass.
I'm enjoying your assessment more than my talk. So
but what's the song? Okay, we leave it there, Conrad. We wish you well. Clearly, the very fact you've come on the exit poll
exudes confidence.
Exudes a sense of confidence. I'll tell you this about Conrad Sangma.
I want to tell him
he's
one
a
more
step
thing.
ahead of his father.
How?
He's actually taken his father's legacy forward, because P.S. Sangma found it very difficult in a way to manage and control, Meghalaya politics. He never had a full 5-year term. Conrad's had a 5-year term. If he wins again, he's taking his dad's legacy
No, but
forward.
he wants to expand in the Northeast. The litmus test is to be able to make his party win elsewhere as well.
That's tougher. That's going to take, yes, very quickly.
I want to tell him one thing. Last time, before the results were out, I went to shoot a photograph for him for India Today magazine before he actually won the elections. And I told him that let's do the shoot because he'll get very busy and you are going to be the CM. So I can say the same thing and come over once more for the next 5 years photograph for the magazine.
And this time he's promised to serve me pork curry. Last time he was so tired that I had to, I had to leave hungry. So remember, Conrad, post-election, if you win, pork curry on the table.
You didn't get food from him?
Nah, we had sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches. Can you imagine?
You sing again, Rajdeep, that's all.
I will sing again. This time we'll properly sing.
No music and no food. Conrad, you didn't take good care of Rajdeep.
One more thing I want to just comment, which is very surprising. Generally, it doesn't happen like this. When we ask who is the more likely to be the chief minister, 38% of the state says Conrad Sangma, whereas NPP is likely to get only 29% of vote, meaning who is voting for other small parties also like Conrad to be CM. That is very important.
Also NPP, the 38% voters voters vote for NPP for the development of the state, and 26% voting based on work, which is highest among all parties.
No, but that's a good thing and a bad thing. If a leader's personal popularity is more than that of his party, then at some level he is not being able to convert his personal popularity into votes for his party. That's what Modi does. So it's a good thing in some ways, and it also shows that his personal popularity is more than that of his party.
Okay, therefore, Conrad, thanks very much for joining us. Let's broaden that because we want to get in more voices. It's still an election which could go anywhere. GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, National Spokesperson of the BJP is with us. Matthew Anthony is spokesperson of the Congress. Dr. Shashi Panja, Senior Minister and National Spokesperson of the TMC. Patricia Mukim, Editor of the Shillong Times, joining us. Remember, when we looked at those Chief Minister numbers, if we take Conrad Sangma 38%, Vincent Pala of the Congress 3%, any other candidate from Congress 16. So you add them, the Congress doesn't do too badly. Mukul Sangma 16. So actually when I add all of that, it would be 35. What I heard in Meghalaya was if the Congress had fought together, that was the split hadn't taken place between the Congress and TMC, they might have done better. BJP 14%. So BJP is making inroads in Meghalaya. Any candidate from UDP 11%, which is roughly what they're getting in overall terms. Let's get in first reactions from you. GVL Narasimha Rao, let's turn to you because the BJP will have to decide, are you going to tie up with the most corrupt and inefficient government in Meghalaya's history, i.e. Conrad Sangma?
Rajdeep, good evening to you, Rahul and all the viewers and the panelists. Let me give you a comment on the overall exit poll outcome in the three states. Retaining Tripura is going to be a very, very major boost for the BJP, because this is a state which we snatched from the left parties after nearly 2 decades of them being in power. Today the left and Congress are together in Tripura. They fought elections together, and yet as per your exit poll predictions, we are winning a comfortable majority. A significant majority, nearly a 2/3 majority. I think it's a very, very positive outcome, and I certainly hope that the real results will be even better than this. Same thing for Nagaland, a state where we have been in power in an alliance, and our alliance is slated to win power again, and with a significant tally of seats again. And coming to Meghalaya also, your own projection shows our numbers are going to be better. They're going to be significantly better compared to the last elections. So the overall, the picture that your exit poll projects today is certainly a very, very positive outcome for the BJP, and it's certainly a boost. It's certainly a shot in the arm for the leadership of the Prime Minister in the government and Mr. Nadda in the party.
Narasimha Rao, if these numbers hold, it is clearly a boost for the Prime Minister, no doubt, and for the BJP. Just to answer, you didn't answer my question. Will you tie up with the most corrupt and inefficient government of Conrad Sangma, as said by Amit Shah, if these numbers hold?
No, we would certainly want to be leading the government, but looking at the numbers that you project, leading a government appears difficult in Meghalaya, rather impossible. But certainly the BJP would join any government which can provide able administration, ensure development for people of Meghalaya, which the outgoing government has failed. What Amit Shah ji mentioned is that the government had failed to utilize the assistance given by the central government, by the Modi ji's government. There isn't a medical college in Meghalaya, while Prime Minister was willing to give 2 medical colleges. So certainly these are for the BJP.
When I heard this in Shillong, Mr. Narasimha Rao, I hope you know that the Health Minister of Meghalaya is from the BJP. Dr. Alexander Heck, he was the minister for 5 years. You now come at the end of 5 years and say there's no medical college. Blame it to Conrad Sangma. This is beautiful. The BJP ke haath mein, dono haath mein laddu. You want anti-incumbency and you will join the government after the election. This is Chanakya Niti.
No, but and it's worked.
It might work.
No,
that's
you
right.
see.
Okay, let's get reactions from others. Matthew Anthony.
Rajdeep, you know, a chief minister.
Let him complete.
Go on, sorry, please go on. Sorry, Narasimha Rao.
From a chief minister, things can't happen. Yeah, you see, we see while the health minister may have been from our party, without an outright, without support from a chief minister, things don't move easily in any government. But certainly,
No, but then now you
whichever
end up in the same
government we
situation.
join
What's the guarantee
in the
it will
next
be
term,
different this time? What's the difference? What's the guarantee it will be different next time?
No, you see. No, certainly when we have taken, when a tall leader like Amit Shah ji has taken a position, there will be, whichever government we choose to join, we will ensure development of that state, because that's Modi brand politics. We will certainly not join a government if we cannot ensure better administration and better governance. That will certainly
Dr.
be a
Shashi
condition,
Panja,
whichever government we join.
Dr. Shashi Panja, the India Today Access My India poll predicts that TMC would have 16% of the vote share and between 5 and 9 seats if Mukul Sangma hadn't broken away, or if the TMC and Congress had somehow fought together. This could have been a more even elections. Because of the manner in which opposition votes once again have got split, the NPP and the BJP are likely to come back to form the next government in Meghalaya.
Thank you, Rajdeep, and thank you, Rahul. And well, yes, that's the assessment that you have done after the exit poll, the results which have come out in the exit poll. But of course, we look forward to the final results, of course, everybody does. And we will respect the mandate of the people. We have tried that. And you are predicting about, say, 16% vote and about 5 to 9 seats to Trinamool Congress, and you're talking about unity. But the point still remains that we have been working in Meghalaya. It may not be for a very long time, but we have been dedicatedly working. We will reach out to, we will continue to reach out to the people of Meghalaya. That also goes without saying.
But the question, Shashi Panja, and I will take it also to Matthew. The question is, there was a large vote of the Congress. When I add the TMC Congress vote, had you been one unit, you might have actually challenged the NPP and the BJP more effectively. The problem is, you broke the Congress 2 years ago and claimed you are the real opposition. The voters not accepting that. Mukul Sangma is strong in the Garo Hills, but it's Mukul Sangma and family. How do you become, you have in a way actually facilitated, some would say, Conrad Sangma to continue in power.
No, that would be a wrong way of putting things. That is not the correct deduction. And Congress should, and also in other states we have seen they're not able to hold on to the MLAs. So we cannot be blamed for that. If they're a party and then they switch over to other parties, we've seen that happening even in other states. Now, if someone has opted to come over to Trinamool Congress, I think Congress should have also given that space for us. I mean, what is wrong? I mean, they could have allowed us to go ahead.
Matthew Anthony, in what is being said here, is really the story, not just possibly of Meghalaya, but across the country. You cannot bring the opposition together. You claim only you can lead the opposition. Your party breaks. 12 of your 17 MLAs broke away. And today, because of that, the opposition anti-Conrad Sangma vote is divided. Now, you have to decide at some stage who is your enemy. You will not reach out to Trinamool Congress. You will not reach out to Mamata Banerjee. She will not reach out to you. How is this going to resolve? You've got a split opposition advantage, BJP and its allies.
Yeah, Rajdeep and Rahul, thanks for taking me in for this. Let me start with the evaluation of the exit polls. We will respect the people's mandate, but we expect the numbers to be different from the exit polls which you have seen here. The fight in which we fought Meghalaya was, if at all you have been in Shillong and you have been in Garo, you have seen the posters of BJP that it says that tired of corruption, vote for BJP. And now we are seeing the same people who are going to come back to power. I just want to ask the BJP spokesperson here that can you openly say that you will not be offering a hand to join the NPP if at all they form a government? Because you have made the entire campaign out of that one. And Kong Patricia is here. The entire Meghalaya is down. 76% of Meghalaya population is landless. 74% of Meghalaya is in a different, is suffering from poverty.
So those are all fair point. Patricia, editor of Shillong Times, you want to respond when you hear politicians who've called each other corrupt during the campaign, possibly tying up after the election? What's the message to the people of Meghalaya?
The message is that, politicians are politicians. And here you're using the national yardstick to measure an election in a state where people don't vote on ideology, they don't vote on party lines, they vote for personalities. So it's going to be a completely different picture from what perhaps your exit poll is saying. I
So
don't
why don't you give
also.
us your assessment of the polls relative to our exit poll? Give us, since you've got your nose on the ground, give us your assessment of what you think the post-poll scenario will be like.
Because I don't know where you got your exit poll numbers from. If you go to the villages, it's very difficult to feel the pulse of people there. I've been really touring the villages, and when you ask people, who are you voting for? And you don't even ask which party, because, party doesn't matter. So they'll name A, B, C, and then they'll say, oh, we haven't decided now. We'll see. We will vote for the person who emerges strongest. So how do they measure that strong thing? That the election, I think it all depends on the election pitch, which is why every candidate had huge rallies to the point where the public couldn't use any more public transport. All the public transport facilities were used up by politicians. It's a very different kind of ball
So
game.
what do you
But
think will
coming
happen,
back
Patricia? What do you think
Yeah.
will happen? Who do you think will be the next CM? Who will form the government?
I think you all have already said it loud and clear that the NPP and the BJP will tie up yet again, because the BJP is not going to allow the other parties to have a free reign. They will come in. You have Himanta waiting to just get the results out, and then he'll come here and put the numbers together. It's a fair game, because we already know this is going to happen. It's only the idealists sitting in Shillong who want a change. It's
So this
very,
is a
very
bit
difficult.
problematic. GVL Narasimha Rao, your party launches a massive anti-corruption tirade against the sitting chief minister, and then both you and Conrad, when we ask them, say yes, it's possible that there will be a post-poll alliance between the NPP and the BJP. I mean, then what was that whole campaign about?
Rahul, I never said who we will tie up with after the elections. I think it's we'll need to wait for the results. But BJP, whichever party we join to form a government in Meghalaya, will have to ensure honest governance and will have to live up to the expectations of people by delivering development. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a huge trust factor in the entire northeastern region, which is also reflected in your results. So when Amit Shah ji mentioned about the corruption and lack of development, certainly these are preconditions for any government that gets formed with BJP's support or inclusion. It will have to, that will certainly be ensured. BJP will not join the government without ensuring these issues. Who we will tie up with, I think that only final results will tell us, give us the kind of composition of the new assembly.
But Matthew Anthony, you didn't answer my question.
It's a precondition for BJP to join any government.
Matthew Anthony, you didn't answer my question. Are you willing, who is your, the Congress party and the Trinamool Congress have fought a bitter campaign in Meghalaya against each other. So just as the BJP and the NPP were at each other's throats, so were you and the Trinamool Congress. What's the message you're sending out? Is this about kaun banega opposition ka face? Whether it's Vincent Pala or whether it's Mukul Sangma, the two of them fought, can't see eye to eye with each other, and that's been part of your problem.
Rajiv, you should understand that Congress has always been inclusive in terms of forming alliances and living with the alliances. At the same time, we have been seeing from the vice president election onwards, TMC compromising the stand on the opposition unity, and they are forming their own ways. So that is something which we need to find a way of solution. But in here also, Goa also, we saw the TMC fighting it alone and closing shops after the election. Now in Meghalaya, they have divided the votes And we are seeing a repercussion for in Meghalaya also, if at all the exit polls seems to be believing.
Panja to respond to it. Dr. Panja, this charge from the Congress that the TMC is acting like the BJP's B team, helping ensure the BJP comes back to power like you did in Goa.
This is absolutely, he cannot even prove it. Well, I would just say that in Goa, things were going pretty well till Mr. P. Chidambaram came and said Congress would go alone. They went alone. They had some MLAs from the party, candidates who became MLAs, and those MLAs very conveniently switched over to BJP. So first they should try to keep the flock together, the Bharat Jodo thing. It should become Jodo. The thing amongst themselves. But the point is Congress should also give space to those who have a chance of faring better than them. No, BJP again at the same time, our role is still there. We are anti-BJP, Congress is also anti-BJP. We are precisely saying that wherever the regional parties or any parties is doing well, has a better chance, allow that person to fight the elections. We are not fighting elections in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, where Congress is doing well. So this is something which Congress is unable to answer. And
I just want to zoom out for a moment.
Continues to say the BJP spokesman is behaving as if they are the most honest government. And look what is happening. The Adani issue is something which they have yet not replied on, and they're looking for honesty. I mean, just look at it. We have to sit and hear these statements.
Okay, in the few minutes that we have left, I want to just zoom out and look at the larger picture that's emerging. If you join the dots, Pradeep Gupta, of these three polls, extrapolated in the context of what happened in Gujarat and Himachal. Gujarat, the BJP won big, Himachal, they lost. Karnataka comes up next. What's the big picture that emerges in your view? Let's start with Pradeep.
Yeah, big picture here is that BJP somehow managing to counter anti-incumbency in different states differently. For example, in Tripura, again they test and try formula of changing the chief minister, and to the large extent countering the anti-incumbency whatsoever is working here as well, apart from Uttarakhand and Gujarat, whereas they didn't change the chief minister in Himachal Pradesh and they faced a loss, which was the case in UP other way round.
Does that mean anything for Mr. Bomai on a day when we had Yadurappa Rajdeep getting a royal princely welcome from the Prime Minister, Bomai standing ashen-faced right there, being treated as a bit of a sideshow?
I think Rahul, Karnataka is sui generis in the sense that Karnataka is a state where caste plays a much bigger role than most other parts of the country even today. There are a few states in north and the south where caste plays a major role. Yadurappa, like it or not, is still the biggest Lingayat face. And without the Lingayats, the BJP cannot win Karnataka. But I think Pradeep has a point. Not changing chief ministers means that the anti-incumbency then gets focused around the individual. You can arrest a section of a part of the anti-incumbency by changing chief ministers almost midstream. The BJP has shown it now in 3 or 4 states successfully. So there clearly is a pattern.
States like Uttarakhand, they change the chief minister again and again till they finally manage to put out the young face of Pushkar Dhami.
Absolutely. But for me, Rahul, the larger point, and maybe Kaushik and Patricia want to take this forward, is actually 2 things that are happening. The BJP, in a concentrated way, is using welfare schemes to expand into areas where traditionally they were not strong. None of these 3 states were remotely called BJP states 10 years ago. They're growing there. What is the opposition, on the other hand, doing? Competing for the opposition space. Who is Pradyut Dev Burman? A congressman who today has formed his Tripura Mota, making gains. Who is Mukul Sangma? Has been a chief minister for 5 years of the Congress, is expanding because he says, I didn't get my due within the Congress. So the opposition space is getting fragmented. The BJP is intelligently striking alliances with regional parties. The BJP is using centrally government schemes in the states of the Northeast to build itself. And frankly, the opposition organizationally is in no position to compete in terms of resources, in terms of leadership, in terms of election imagination. I mean, frankly, I didn't see the Congress on the ground across these 3 states. Matthew Anthony may deny it, but when I met Vincent Pala of the Congress, I said, where is the Congress? I don't see our posters. No, we don't rely on event management. We do door-to-door campaigning. Now, I can see the fact that the Congress is giving a lot of tickets to young people under 45. Good on them, lots of new faces. But you've got to fight. Now, it's not easy in the absence of resources, but intelligent campaigning is required. You know, this Congress left alliance, in my view, I don't think was ever going to work from day one. Unnatural alliance. But I think that's the message.
Kaushik, your big takeaways?
And one quick last point before. I think Prime Minister Modi, and I'm saying this because it will then deserves a lot of credit for his Northeast outreach. I've been traveling over the years to the region. I said this in a video blog with Kaushik, which then went viral. I think one of the achievements of Prime Minister Modi is that he has recognized that the Northeast is an area of growth. Let's focus on it. I haven't seen that kind of focus from a national leader in a very long time, if at all.
No, and it's showing up in better road infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Airways infrastructure, where it's just much easier to get to Kaushik's part of the country.
Okay, that went viral, but you were thinking that it will put you in trouble, that effort. I would not like to see BJP politics from Northeastern point of view, because in Northeast, BJP is still not an organic party. Of course, Prime Minister Modi's focus, all these beneficiary schemes have helped BJP take the space of Congress, which was the national party. But in Northeast, the BJP itself is a rebranded version of Congress, because if you see, they still have 4 CMs and all 4 are from Congress somehow. And the emergence of regional parties, always there, the opposition used to be regional parties in Congress when, in Northeast, when Congress dominated the center space in Northeast. That has been taken away by BJP. But BJP's success in Northeast is still restricted to Hindu-dominated states. And in the states where Christians or other communities are dominant, BJP is taking help of regional parties. And when I was traveling from Guwahati to Delhi, I met a union minister in the flight. And he was telling me this, that we are not afraid of Congress. We can handle Congress. The BJP's challenge, they say that, whether it's in Northeast or in any other parts of the country, are from the regional parties, strong regional parties. That's where they stumble. We saw that in West Bengal. In the Northeast also, wherever, like in Meghalaya also, there is NPP. The BJP cannot form the government because the NPP is the main force. In Nagaland, NDPP is the main force. BJP is the supporting player.
But they're willing to make those adjustments.
Let me finish. Yes, they are willing to make the adjustment for the sake of forming government and then make slowly inroads. Look at Congress. After its 21 MLAs in Meghalaya, they left. They had won the highest and then they became 0. Even after that, our exit poll says that they will get 6 to 12 seats. Whereas TMC, which is like the topmost leader of Congress, went to TMC and still it's lagging behind. So that means Congress still has a hold. And I saw this number, very interesting number. When it talks about voting for development of the state, 40% voters said they would like to vote for Congress in Meghalaya. So that means Congress still has some value in the Northeast, only that they don't have leaders and their organizational will and power to get that traction, which BJP is very successfully doing.
Patricia, you want to give us the big picture that you see coming from the Northeast, not just Meghalaya? Is it that the BJP is now emerging as a party, a central magnet almost across the Northeast, sometimes tying up with regional parties, but it's in power in Assam, it could be in power in Tripura again, Nagaland in alliance in Meghalaya, you know, that's in Manipur in power. So it's a state, it is now the primary magnet in a way in the Northeast.
See, Rajdeep, I think a lot of these northeastern states, or rather the people of this region, are looking at Assam as the example of development, because you see a lot of infrastructure coming up there, and you look at Nagaland and you don't see that happening. You see roads that are decrepit. Even in Meghalaya, rural Meghalaya is still, 50 years behind time. And we have done this very, very grounded report in Garo Hills, where people have not had electricity since independence. And their homes were fitted with smart meters. It even generated bills. Can you imagine that kind of a thing happening in this day and age? Now, it's fine for the BJP to say that they are going to focus on Vikas. That has been said again and again. But where is the monitoring of the projects? The Jal Jeevan mission, it's fine on paper, but it's not there on the ground. And I wish people would go more into rural Meghalaya, more into rural Nagaland, especially Eastern Nagaland, to find out that people are still living in the dark ages. Matthew earlier
In
had
fact,
pointed out to the
no,
32
you're right. In fact, I keep saying these are poor states with rich netas. They monopolize all the resources of your state.
Absolutely.
There is huge amounts of corruption.
Also, I want to say one thing, Rajdeep. What is happening? The Congress leaving Congress MLAs leaving the party in bulk or on block. It's all political egotism. I think that political egotism is bigger than their claim to serve the people. Because if that was not there, those MLAs would still have remained in the Congress. And as you said, the Congress does or still has a sizable following all over. They haven't lost that following yet.
Well, they've lost a large part of that following. The following
Rahul,
is now a shadow of what it was earlier. But we'll slip into a break. When we come back in the last part of the broadcast, we'll all ask all our guests about the big picture that emerges from the Northeast and how they are reading these results when taken in tandem. So that last part of our analysis is coming up on the other side of a very quick break. Stay with us.
India Today Conclave 2023, March 17th and 18th, New Delhi. Listen to Janvi Kapoor, Malaika Arora, Anita Sengupta, Abha Adams, Hajar Chena Ramani, Dr. Ruha Shadab. The India Moment.
Southern cinema is known for its flavors, be it over-the-top action sequences, light-hearted comedy, or a complete masala entertainer.
పానం కన్నా విలువైన నీ సోపతి నా సొంతం అన్నా గర్వంతో ఈ మనలో కలిసిపోతానే
The fact that it has such a wide reach irrespective of the language barrier explains the craze and power of these regional films. While we have Kannada films, Telugu films and Malayalam movies that have had a dream run lately and continue to do so, let's take a look at the A-listers and their most anticipated Tamil movies of 2023 as the industry is basking in the glory of some of the biggest hits. Jailer. Jailer will be Rajnikant's first film since the release of Annate in 2021. Directed by Nelson Dilip Kumar, the movie has a stellar cast comprising of Jackie Shroff, Shivaraj Kumar, Mohan Lal and Tamanna among others. The movie is scheduled to roll out in cinemas on April 14th. Ponniyin Selvan 2. Filmmaker Mani Ratnam's dream project Ponniyin Selvan Part 1 fetched critical acclaim and was a commercial success. The first part of this magnum opus ended on a cliffhanger, and now all eyes are on the second part, which will hit theatres on April 28th. The second part will pick up from where it ended in PS1 and will have answers to key questions about the Chola dynasty. Based on the novel by Kalki Krishnamurthy, the historical drama features Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Chyan Vikram, Trisha, Jayam Ravi and Karthi in lead roles.
There are some big names in the art world, like the ones from the progressive modern masters like Raza, Souza, Gaitonde, Hussain, etc. Some collect them as assets, some as vanity, some for the snob value, some for the emotional appeal. They appreciate well and fetch returns. Same with select contemporary artworks. Then there is a whole pool of emerging contemporary artists who cannot just be viewed from the lens of valuations. One such artist at the India Art Fair happened to be Vikrant Pisse. His art reiterates his commitment to the revolutionary spirit of Babasaheb Ambedkar. His work focuses on making powerful social commentary. The fabric of revolutionary times exuded. From his work, the call to action to uphold constitutional rights, to a social commentary on casteism with the Dalits in India, to depicting the landmark Rohit Vermila suicide case, the artist is working on a series on the legacy of the Dalit Panther movement in India. His iconography is informed and deliberate in radicality. A force of change to reckon with, Bhise's work stands out at the India Art Fair. In New Delhi, Chaiti Narula for India Today.
Welcome back. Just a little bit more on the India Today Axis My India exit poll. 3 states, Tripura, we are predicting BJP, Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma holding all the cards with him, and Nagaland, the NDPP-BJP alliance. Let's get quick reactions because one of the faces of the CPIM Congress combined, Jitendra Chaudhary, Secretary CPIM Tripura, who hopes to be CM if that wins. Mr. Chaudhary joining us. Mr. Chaudhary, not looking so good as per the exit polls. How do you respond?
No, actually, it will prove wrong because I don't know how the India Today conducted the exit poll. Here, the ground situation is completely different. And the mode of the people after the polling, that is 16th of February, totally the camp, the ruling camp, it is demoralized. In other hand, where the secular and left democratic forces, they have joined hand to restore the democracy. They are found to be jubilant from the day of the polling. So what I would like to say, on 2nd of March, all this prediction, who has given the, what will say, edge to the ruling BJP, that will found to be wrong.
Okay. Mahima Singh, you are also hoping that the exit polls are wrong, I presume.
I would say, Rajdeep ji, that exit polls are bound to meet their fate, and so are the political parties. But I think what should prevail is the public mandate. The adult franchise must be respected, but it has been, I would say, blatantly, brazenly insulted in the state of Nagaland today. Tripura also saw a lot of violence. Meghalaya, may have been fairly, as compared to the other 2 states, peaceful. Whatever the outcome be, I believe that we just need to respect the electoral process, and we have been raising complaints to the Election Commission. What comes out on the 2nd of March will be the public mandate, and we have fought an election vehemently on the issues. We have raised a voice against the BJPs and NDPPs and NPPs and all the other, the parties that were ruling on their failures. In Tripura, they had promised things like goodies like smartphones, free education. I have a list of 11 unfulfilled promises. If you allow, I'll go on and read that out.
Ma'am, we've run out. I wish you had come earlier. We will join you again on the 2nd. You can come and vent at the unfulfilled promises of the BJP.
But they're inconsequential now. That's during campaign. Now you focus on the results. You focus on where those numbers are coming from, where the votes are moving and why, and then you join the dots to form the big picture, which is what Rajdeep, me, Kaushik, Pradeep Gupta and all will do on the 2nd of March. That's counting day. So lots of excitement there. the BJP seems to have found some way of getting into the party in each of the states, whether it's through the front door, the back door, even the window. They've got some seat on the political high table in all those states.
Absolutely, and therefore I think the 2nd of March in a sense will perhaps tell us what lies ahead of this big election year. Who is best prepared in a way in terms of just being fighting fit at election time. Thanks very much for watching. Pradeep, you'll be on test again on the 2nd. Let's see if you pass once again. And Kaushik, it's your Northeast, India Today Northeast, where you'll get lots of details on his website. So thank you all very much for joining us. Stay well, stay safe. Namaskar.
First, they attacked the Ajnala police station in Amritsar with swords and guns while hiding behind a copy of Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh religious text, forcing the Punjab government to release a kidnapping and rioting accused. Now Khalistani sympathizer Amritpal Singh, who heads separatist Waris Punjab Day, continues to spew venom. Amritpal Singh went on to threaten Union Home Minister Amit Shah, saying he would meet a similar fate as Indira Gandhi, who was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards.
ਅਮਿਤ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਪੂਰੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਪਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਚਲ ਦਿਆਂਗੇ। ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੇਸੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਅਧਿਕਾਰ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਅਧਿਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ ਕੁਚਲਣ ਦੀ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਚਲਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੇ ਅਮਿਤ ਸ਼ਾਹ, ਉਹ ਹੋਰ ਦੂਜੀਆਂ ਧਿਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕਲਾਬ ਜਿੰਦਾਬਾਦ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਚਲਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੇ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਪੀਸਫੁਲ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਚਲਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਅਰਥ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਇਸ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਲਾਮ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ।
He even drew a Palestine parallel